Hi everyone, I'm WABC Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg. This is Wake Up Weather on ABC 7 NY and for Weather or Not, sponsored by TD Bank. Happy Thanksgiving week, and as we lead up to the big holiday, we are good for the big getaway day on your Wednesday. In fact, not only is it fairly tranquil locally, but also across the country, there are just some minor issues and a couple of trouble spots. That's going to change on Thanksgiving as we get rainy and we just have a good old-fashioned soaking for Thanksgiving. It's wet for the parade, thankfully not too windy. We can't have sustained winds above 23 miles an hour or gusts over 34, 35 miles an hour. We're not going to have that. The balloons will fly, but it will be wet. Unlike last year when we had beautiful weather in 52, it was sunny and mild back in 2022. We'll go back to a couple of several mild Thanksgiving Day parades. We were in the 50s and 60s. Our last soaking was back in 2020. We had nearly 0.8 of an inch of rainfall. And then after you go back to the coldest back in 2018, remember that we were in the 20s, but back in 2006 we had nearly 2 inches of rainfall, and that's where this picture is from. We had the Dora Explorer balloon, and you can see the wet roads and all of the ponchos that the balloon handlers had to have. So that was back in 2006. Dora ran from 2005 to 2009. She's back after 15 years off, and it gets rained on again. We'll be in the upper 40s during the afternoon hours. The rain will taper after 3 or 4 in the afternoon. That's when the wind starts to pick up. But our wind during the morning, albeit a little breezy at times, won't be problematic for the parade. So the next few days, it's tranquil for travel on your Wednesday. We've got rain on Thanksgiving and snow in the high ground, well north and west. I'll show you a snow map in a moment. And then on Friday, it's brisk and chilly behind the system, 40s, but more feeling like 30s because we'll have a gusty breeze. Travel forecast once again is quiet. We'll just have some clouds rolling into the forecast for your Wednesday. On Thanksgiving, we'll have some snow well north and west. There could actually be a few inches in the highest elevations of the Catskills. The extended forecast, we go into a colder pattern, but also a drier pattern into the first week of November. Travel on the East Coast looks nice and quiet on Wednesday. There are some late day showers that start to get into the Ohio Valley, but the first part of the day looks good. You're fine to the south and nice and toasty in Tampa and in Miami. Through the middle of the country, good through Chicago. We're good in Dallas. In between, there's a thin line of showers starts to expand from Kansas City to St. Louis and again into Indianapolis as the day goes on. Out west, we're now drying out after some unsettled weather. Pretty good here from LA to San Francisco up to Seattle. The storm that's over the Front Range of the Rockies could cause some problems in places like Denver. They're suited to handle a storm at this magnitude, but there's definitely some higher elevation snows, and this is the storm that's coming our way for Thanksgiving. So look at the futurecast. We've got some high clouds that'll be rolling in Wednesday morning, can make for a pretty sunrise. It's not even totally overcast by day's end. I think south and west of New York City, we're mostly cloudy and more of a filtered sunshine. To the north could still be a little bright. We're certainly cooler than the weather we had on Tuesday. We'll be around the 50-degree mark, but again, wind won't be too bad, so we're good for balloon inflation on the west side. The problem starts late Wednesday night. Now, if you have last-minute errands you have to do for Thanksgiving, you're fine during the evening hours. I don't think the first rain or snow showers show up till after midnight, but they start to stream into northwest New Jersey and into the Poconos and Catskills. There might be even a shower by 2 or 3 a.m. that tries to sneak into New York City. But I think it's the pre-dawn hours leading up to that 6 a.m. time when we start to get our steadier rain coming in. At the same time, we've already had several hours of some wet snow in Pike and Sullivan and western Ulster County, and we're stacking up some accumulations, and the wet snow continues into the day. So there's the start time of the parade, and you've got a soaking rain and east-northeast wind coming in at about 7 to 14, maybe some gusts to 20 miles an hour. Here's a look toward the end of the parade. You still have waves of rain. Hopefully we can get a little lull in some of the intensity at times. I think the steadiest rain is going to be north and east of New York City by about 3 in the afternoon. We're still pretty wet over the Hudson Valley, Connecticut, and eastern Long Island. You've got some snow mixing in the Catskills and even into parts of northern Ulster and Dutchess County. By the time we get into the evening hours, we've dried out. So at least the weather home from Thanksgiving dinner looking a little bit better, and we actually start to see a few breaks in the clouds late. Rainfall Going to average about a half an inch to 3/4 of an inch. I think we could get amounts that push 9/10 off to the north of the city. We're probably closer to that half inch to the south. But again, a good soaking during the day that should keep us in that half inch to 3/4 on average. In terms of snowfall, not much of the area, but once we get into the higher terrain of the Poconos and Catskills, we can get some coatings here, Sullivan County and central Ulster County, as much as 3 to 6 inches above, let's say, 1,000 feet. Once we get into northern Sullivan and northwest Ulster, maybe about 1,500 feet, we could see that 6-inch total. So it's rain on Thanksgiving with a mix of rain and snow well north and west. That pulls away and then just kind of swirls over Atlantic Canada for several days. So we'll get waves of chill that come in right through the upcoming weekend as it remains rather brisk and chilly. It doesn't look particularly wet. We might have a rain or snow shower on Friday, but after that, there's limited opportunities for snowfall. Now, we talked about the snowfall in the Catskills. Now, that's through Thursday evening, but when we go over the weekend and we've got these gusty winds that are going over the warmer waters of the Great Lakes, we're going to have a big lake effect snow event that's going to come in. So downwind of Lake Erie, this is going to be south of Buffalo and east of Lake Ontario, we could have a foot or two of snow. The steering winds of the overall weather pattern is once this storm exits, we finally got some access to Arctic air, and I think it's going to be one wave after another with minimal moderation over the next week to 10 days. But because these storm systems are coming from the northwest, they're fairly moisture starved. I don't see a lot of precipitation. Sometimes with these storms, a front can pop a low off the coast and we can have some intensification. I can't see that, or can't see those details just yet, but what I can certainly see is the overall trend through the first week of December of much colder temperatures. You can see that pattern in the Climate Prediction Center, above normal temperatures in the west and a strong signal for below normal temperatures in the east through the first 10 days of December. And even in our short term, you can see after seeing temperatures maybe in the 50s for Getaway Wednesday, we're dropping into the 40s, even 30s for high temperatures through the 6th. And I think nighttime lows actually approach the freezing mark for the first time in New York City. In terms of rainfall, sure, we got a couple tenths of an inch on your Tuesday in the morning hours, but we're still 7.5 inches below average for the fall, and for the entire year running a deficit a little over 3.5 inches. Our reservoirs still looking very low. Visually, you can see them if you're driving through the Hudson Valley or the Catskill watershed. Nearly 22% below average levels. Should be around 81%. We're around 59%. So we continue to need that rainfall. And unfortunately, with this colder pattern, it does look like we're in a below normal precipitation pattern into early December. Sticks out like a sore thumb. Our big rain chance, that's coming on Thanksgiving with a half inch to 3/4 of an inch of rainfall. 7 in the morning on your Wednesday, it's sun and high clouds, 30s in the suburbs, certainly a chill in the air as we go through the day, about 50, more in the way of clouds as we go through the afternoon hours, and ultimately by evening we should be mainly cloudy. But there still will be high clouds, brightening at times, better chance of seeing sun north, more clouds to the south. But really, it's a day where weather is staying out of your way for any Thanksgiving travel or pre-Thanksgiving prep. 43 tomorrow night, rain toward dawn with a mix of snow well north and west, Catskills and Poconos. Here's your 7-day. A Thanksgiving soaker that quiets down after late afternoon, then turning gusty and drying out Thursday night. Brisk on Friday. There could be a snowflake north and west, maybe a sprinkle toward the coast. Otherwise, it's cloud and sun. Remain brisk and chilly into the weekend. December feels the part as well in the 30s during the day. And look at the sub-freezing temperatures at night into early next week. It's the same chilly story by next Tuesday. Your 7-day AccuWeather forecast is always on ABC7 NY. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and thanks for listening to Whether or Not. We'll see you next time. Rain or shine.